This is N4LQ listening for check-ins.
Steve, WA4LLR.
Kilowatt 4, Victor Whiskey Delta, K4VWD.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4NKL.
WB4ARK.
Kilo Whiskey 4, Romeo Bravo.
W4VRO.
WA4EVK.
WS4MEC.
Okay, I think maybe I missed a couple stations that got doubled on there. But here's what I've got so far. I've got WA4LLR Dave, K4VWD Lee, KZ4B John, WB4NKL Cliff, and I think there was a double somewhere right in that area. But if you would just repeat your call, we'll get you in there. WB4ARK Buddy and KW4RB, and I don't have your name yet, but welcome. And you'll go to W4V Victor Radio Oscar Ray and WA4EVK, and that's Boone, and the W4MEC Charlie. So who did I miss? I heard a sideband station. We are in AM now. You want to try again on AM mode?
I think that was Brian.
Oh, okay. I must have been up frequency or something. Try again, Brian. Oh, okay. All right. One more time down the list real quick. Got VW or LLR. Did I miss you? WA4LLR, VWD, KZ4B, NKL, ARK, 4RB, VRO, EVK, and MEC, and maybe KN4R. And I will listen for anybody else that'd like to try to check in right now.
November 4, Whiskey Delta.
I got Bruce there, N4WD. Anybody else?
Steve, N4UB tried to check in just ahead of me. He's in Blakely, Georgia. You may not be able to hear him, but if you would take one more listen for him.
I sure will. Don, N4UB, are you out there? Give me a call.
NC for the win.
Yeah, Don, you're extremely weak here. I could see your carrier and I could hear little bits and pieces of your modulation, but I've got you down here, and I'll go ahead and put you after Bruce, N4WD, and we're probably going to have trouble hearing you, but we'll do our best. And Stefan, NC4ON, at the very end, got you. So, real quick, down the list, LLR, VWD, KZ4B, NKL, ARK, 4RB, VRO, EVK, MEC, question mark about Brian, not sure, N4WD, N4UB, and then NC4ON. So we'll have to kind of wing it there on some of the weaker signals. So it's going to be a pretty day here in Shelby, I think. I'm running the Valiant. at about 125 watts, and D104 mic, and that's about it. So go ahead, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve, fine business. N4LQ. And the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, good morning to everybody. If Brian is in there, and I believe he is, I think he was up the band a ways. But I could be wrong. Looks like about 14 check-ins this morning, including Don. So, good deal. Hope everybody's doing well, running the RT13 and listening on an HQ180. Like I said, we've got about 23 degrees, clear skies, and as the old-timers would say, a rabbit tracking frost. So, down to you, Lee. K4VWD, WA4LLR.
Thank you, Dave. This is K4VWD from WA4LLR. Well, excuse me for checking in so early today, but I got some paid transportation coming to pick me up to take me to the hospital to do some tests. They gotta run a needle through my back, between the ribs, into my lung, and pull out some fluids. So I'm gonna be there for a couple of hours, but the paid transportation will be here shortly. And I wanted to check in early because I need to sign out. And I hope everybody has a blessed week. And good Lord willing, I'll be back here Thursday morning to talk to everybody. And as far as I know, I'll be here unless they find something unusual. So with that, I'll keep it going. 7-3, God bless everybody. KZ4B in the group, K4VWD. So long.
Okay, K4VWD in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Lee. Conditions are just so today. That's interesting. We missed Sunday, which we always try to meet because the conditions are generally better than during the week. But my brother was visiting, so I didn't have a chance to get on. And I'm on the usual rig today, the Tentec Eagle, driving the Titan 1, which I thought for the last few sessions was feeding my half-wave long wire antenna, but it turns out I was on the inverted B G5RV. But that was a mistake. So today I am indeed on the half-wave long wire, and so signal reports are appreciated. But on this end, conditions are only so-so with considerable QS Baker. So if you're hearing me, Cliff, I'm passing it on to you. WB4NKL in the group, KZ4B, over.
Yeah, KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. Good copy on you, John. Copying everybody except Don. I just tell there was like Steve, just tell there was a signal there, but couldn't copy the audio. Everybody else coming in pretty decent here today. Ray, I heard you earlier, and about as loud as I've ever heard you here. You're about 20 dB over on this Drake 2A receiver. And I'm running a Valiant 10 transmitter this morning that I got up and running last week. I think I maybe had it on the net Sunday, but giving it a workout, make sure it's going to hold together. So I heard one station I don't think I've heard before. The name here's Cliff, and located in Limestone, Tennessee, up in the eastern part of the state. So I'll send it on around. Go ahead, buddy. WB4 ARKs, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, WB4ARK. Okay, Cliff, you got a fairly decent signal today. Everybody's signal seems to be a little bit weak, including John. I wonder, John, if you tried out the inverted V next time around, we could give you a clarification on the two antennas. The temperature here was 25 this morning at about 7:30, 7:15, and there was a very good frost this morning. And I'm sure you had one up there too, Dave, and it's very good to hear your ART-13. It sounds extremely smooth, and it's just a perfect signal. Your signal is probably one of the strongest of the stations. I think that's probably about it for right now. I'm hearing everybody except Don. Don I could tell he was in there, but that's about it. So with that, over to KW4RB. This is WB4ARK.
Yeah, all right. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for letting me drop in this morning. Heard you guys, Ned, on YouTube Sunday there, and enjoyed what I heard there, so I thought I'd try to check in with you guys this morning. I'm only running about 40 watts with an ICOM 761 and a little desk mic. But anyway, the name here is Bob, Bravo Oscar Bravo, and I'm in Pulaski, Virginia. We're about 25 degrees here this morning, so pretty cool. And also didn't realize the format there, so I don't know who comes up next. I hope whoever comes up next was paying attention, because I didn't realize I passed it to somebody else. But with that, I'll go ahead and pass it to the next person, and I'm only going to be one round. I got a doctor's appointment this morning, but I'm trying to catch you guys again Thursday. With that, I'll say 73 and pass it on down. Thanks a lot, guys. KW4RB.
All right, Ray, go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Steve. N4LQ and KW4RB. This is W4VRO. Signals are good, and I'm copying everyone very well except KW4RB. Copied part of his transmission, but just a little of it, right down in the noise. Steve, thank you for listening for Don. He's Q5 here, but of course I'm between he and everybody else. His antenna is very low. Don, you're in the list, so I think they'll turn it to you. But try, if you're still listening, try again. And Don, try to check into the net. Conditions will be better other times, and I remember last winter we could hear you pretty well most of the time. And Steve, I need to check out. I'm going to listen a few minutes, but this will have to be my last transmission. Thank you for calling the net. And Don, good to hear you. 73's to Lee, if he's still listening, and to everybody. And thanks very much, Steve, for calling the net, and 73 to all. Over to you, Boone, WA4EVK in the group, W4VRO.
W4VRO in the group, WA4EVK. Well, Ray, I hate you couldn't hang around, but I know how that is. Well, it's 32 degrees here in Pickens this morning. I hope to have another productive day outside working in the yard. Got a few things left to do. I'm running the AF68 into the old Swan Mark 1. Looks like about 275 watts carrier. Did spent yesterday doing antenna work, probably do the same thing today. And with that, I'm going to send it up to Charlie. W4MEC to take it, WA4EVK.
Okay, Boone, WA4EVK and the old friends group, W4MEC. They're all good. Everybody's coming in here. Except Don, N4UB was basically unreadable. Just popped out of the modulation a little bit there. Not sure what he's doing, but apparently it's not as Art 13 on the air. It's about 27 degrees here. It's come up a degree since the net started. Clear, nice day outside, frosty on the ground. Not quite enough to track rabbits with, but it's there. Boone, I got a gun club meeting tonight, so I will not be on the 6-meter net. Maybe Glenn or Lyle will show up. Yeah, I'd like to start doing that too, get out here and do a little more yard work, but I'm still fighting this darn chest cold, so I'm just about over it, but it's been a hanger-on, so you know how it is when the grandkids bring something home from school that you haven't seen since you were a little kid. It can knock you out pretty darn good. Alrighty, so down to Reese, N4WD in the group, W4MEC.
KN4R.
Steve, you'll let Brian come in there for me?
Oh, I got you down there, Brian. You'll come after Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce.
MEC N4WD. And Don, I think he was down in South Georgia somewhere. Okay. Sounded good here. Changing antennas there, and wished everybody a Merry Christmas. So, if they didn't hear you, that's what you were saying. 28 degrees this morning, frost, 7:30, sun's up, is up to 31 right now, so it's fine. Running the LMAC to 68, not much power, but what can I say, the antenna wire's cold, but it's not radiating like it should. So let's see if this goes down to Don. Let's see if everybody can get you there. Anybody else can get you there, Don, if you copied me in. 4UB, N4WD.
Yeah, I don't see any carrier at all, so Don, if you hear us, 73s, and let me get the list straightened out here. I got N4WD, and then it will go to Stefan, NC40N, and then to KN4R Brian, and then back to me. How's that? Go ahead, Stefan.
Yeah, this is Steve. Good morning, everybody. This is NC40N, and yeah, it's a little chilly in Denver this morning, but it's warming up. So I'm on my old Kenwood here this morning, my 950 SDX, and I'm using my infant antenna, and just happy to be here. I hear Brian loud and clear, so you're coming in good, Brian. So I'll send it over to you, and Steve, thank you for doing the net this morning. You're sounding great on your rig there. No problem. Go ahead, Brian, KN4R and group NC40N.
Hey, Brian, are you there? Boy, who was that?
That was N4UB.
N4UB. Go ahead, try to make a transmission. N4UB, go ahead, N4LQ. Okay, whatever you said, we appreciate it. Just too weak to copy. Now, let me try Brian one more time. KN4R, N4LQ. Well, I don't know what happened. Okay, I guess that was an interesting round. Who had the strongest signal? I don't even know. That ART-13 does sound beautiful. That's your best rig there, Dave. Keep it up. And Lee, if you haven't left yet, 73s, and hope the doctor's appointment turns out okay. And hope they can put you to sleep there, and you won't feel that needle. Boy, let's see. Eagle, John on the Eagle. Well, you're about S9 here, and I can't really give you a comparison report because it is daytime conditions, and but you're doing good for daytime conditions. I'll tell you that much. If you want to try another antenna, feel free to do so, and we'll compare it. And Cliff, your Valiant 2 sounds great, 15 over 9, and Buddy's plus 10 sounds good. And let's see, I think that's and Boone, you're just 18 over. You're real strong here, very strong. A little bit strong on the audio. You might want to back it down just a smidget. Other than that, Stefan's 950 sounding good. So let's take another round. We have lost Lee. He's gone, so Dave will turn it to John, KZ4B. We've lost Bob. Bob was in Pulaski, Virginia, and I'm not sure exactly where that is. It's 130 miles from me, so it's a pretty long shot, and he was only running 40 watts, so really doing pretty good. And if you're still listening, Bob, 73s to you, and you're welcome any time that you'd like to join up with us. So he is out, so Buddy will turn it down to Boone, EVK, since Ray has left the building. And then Bruce, you'll turn it to Stefan, and I don't know what happened to Brian. So go ahead and take it, Dave, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All right, Steve. N4LQ in the group, WA4LLR. Well, Lee, 73 to you, praying that procedure goes well and everything shows up normal. John, good deal on your brother's visit Sunday, and you're 20 over at least on the antenna that you're running. And Cliff, the Valiant 2 sounds great. Buddy, thanks for the signal report. I give you all the credit because you are the guru that rebuilt this ART-13. So I appreciate it very much. And Bob, if you're listening, good morning, welcome. And your 40 watts for doing a great job down here in Burnsville, North Carolina. 730 to you, Ray. Boone, the AF-68's doing great. Charlie, sorry you're still fighting the cold. I'm still fighting whatever I've got, so I'm gonna go get a test kit and make sure it's not the COVID. But if it is, it's what I think my grandkids have been passing around. Good morning to you, Bruce. Sounding good up here. And I could hear Don a little on his last antenna. Stefan, the Kenwood sounds very good. And Brian, if you're listening, good morning to you. You were there and then you were gone. Let's see, today's space weather, sunspot count's 87, the solar flux is 126, and the K index is 1. And a few items from this day in history. On this day in 1997, the Kyoto Protocol was adopted in Japan. On this day in 2019, 16-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg was named Times Person of the Year. On this day in 1978, millions were stolen at JFK in the Lufthansa heist. On this day in 2008, Bernie Madoff was arrested. On this day in 1994, Russian forces entered Chechnya. On this day in 1941, Germany declared war on the United States. On this day in 1961, the first U.S. helicopters arrived in South Vietnam. And on this day in 1969, the Soviets declared that nudity was a sign of Western decadence. Well, okay. Anyhow, let's see. Lee's gone, so John, here it comes, buddy. KZ4 Bravo, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Dave. The ART-13 is sounding great, like all ART-13s do. It's hanging right in there. We did change antennas. This one seems to receive better than the long wire did. We're on the G5, the 160 meter resonant G5 RV. It's higher, it's an inverted V, and it's going through an AT5K antenna tuner. Everything else is the same. So we would appreciate signal comparisons between the antenna we used last time and this time. Steve, Mike Cumbo came by yesterday, ND4S, who bought the Tentec gear. He was impressed with its condition, and I will find out on a schedule tonight how well it works for him. If it doesn't, I'm sure he'll make it work, because that VFO is rare as hen's teeth, so it's like one of a very few on the planet. He was tickled to death to get it. And I ransomed the equipment. I told him that he had to help me get my bladder tank out of the garage. And so he and Art, who came with him, N8F&X, and myself, muscle this thing out of the garage. It had to be lifted almost overhead in order to get through the narrow path in my cluttered garage. But we did get it out into the car. And so I can proceed to take it to the dump, and that cleared up space for a new workbench that I have already set up that will allow me to do some of my projects out of there instead of in the laundry room that irritates the heck out of my wife, because I'm in her way there. And so she's happy about that. But my heating bill is going to go up because the garage is not normally heated. We keep the heat turned off in there to save money, which is in short supply always. So, I guess it's time to pass it on over to Cliff, and so take it away. WB4NKL in the group, KZ4B, over.
Okay, John, KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. I believe your signal was a little stronger here, that transmission, but it could have been conditions, you know, between the two transmissions. But you're a little stronger on the meter this go around. So I guess if it's helping you on receive, it's maybe the better antenna for you. I'm going to go ahead and get out too, and supposed to run up to my sister's house. They're having a deal up there. They're making candy, and I'm supposed to eat lunch with them. So I guess I need to go up and make sure that the candy's turning out all right. Check it out. So say 73s and enjoyed it. Thanks for calling it, Steve, and we'll try to catch everybody Thursday. Go ahead, buddy. WB4ARK, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, WB4ARK. Okay, Cliff. Well, Don was almost readable that time, but not quite. I could tell better that he was in there. And John, I think your signal is stronger. I did not take a look at the R390A meter on the first antenna, long wire antenna, but the inverted V, you were up to 70 dB on the R390A, and that's a pretty good signal. Of course, we're not that far away, but that's still a very strong signal. And I am running the ART13, so that makes two of us on today with ART13s. R390A receiver, horizontal dipole, and I'm located in Lake Wylie, South Carolina, which is just a little bit south of Charlotte. and the name is Buddy. And let's see what else we got. All the other stations had weaker than normal signals today. I guess we've got a band condition that's causing that. Except Dave's signal was quite strong, and John's signal and Steve's signal was fairly strong. So that's about it. Well, I'm supposed to turn it over to WA4EVK. This is WB4ARK.
Thank you, buddy. Steve, was the other station still on?
No, you got it. Go ahead, Boone.
I wasn't sure. Kind of several people going away and signing. I came off the modulation a little bit on this thing. Hope the audio is a little better. I've got to get my scope set up here. I left it out when I rearranged the shack. I got to put it back where it belongs so I can set this thing up. Very pleased with the AF68. Got it from Steve. Had to do a little changing around here to fit it in, but it has been working great. Actually, today is probably going to be the first day I try it up on 10 meter AM. I do work 10 meter AM and FM, which gets pretty interesting. The reason for that, it's something you can do in midday if you've got a station within range or the band's open. If the band's open, you can work all over, of course, on 10 meter AM. 29.00 is the national calling frequency, guys. If you've never done it, it gets pretty interesting. And with that, I'm going to, Charlie, by the way, I got your message on that, and we'll see who does show up. So, W4MEC to take it, WA4EVK.
WA4EVK in the group, W4MEC. 29.0, that's amazing, because when I was first on 10 50 years ago, nobody went above 29. It was all below 29. And about 28.7 was where the sidebanders cut off, and 709 to almost 29 is where everybody hung out. I think it had something to do with some of the sideband rigs back then only had 200 KC of range there, and for some reason they ended about 29.7. So anyway, I've got my 10 meter Lafayette here, like my 10 meter 6 meter rig, or rather my Lafayette 6 meter rig, and they're identical, except one's on 10, one's on 6. Anyway, I've got it up and running. And that's the one where the filament winding went out in the power transformer. And I just stuck a 12.6 volt filament transformer in the back panel and run the filaments from that. The rest of the power supply is good. Let's see. I did hear Brian earlier. He was off frequency at first. I thought he was an AM, but he was just off frequency, but I wasn't quite fast enough to tune him in. And then I heard him come back with a very nice AM signal, and then he's disappeared. Let's see. John is for 4B John. You're much less QSB on the G5RV. I did not look at the S meter. It did sound like you were louder, so that means you were quite a bit more on the S units. But the one thing I did notice was the QSB went away on you. The garage heat, I have had three forms: electric, kerosene, and propane, and electric is of course the most expensive. I got a little 4 kilowatt old school heater from the 1950s, and got a fan in it, and two kilowatt elements. And I used to have it wired for in series there because I rented on. I didn't want to use all that, but but it turned out 2 kilowatts was not enough, so I hooked it back up. But I also got a kerosene heater, and I really like that one the best, but I don't have any safe place to put it right now. I've got so cluttered. That's several reasons that I haven't got my DX100B or my R13 going, was the clutter. And I've not been able to find my 813 stash or my 807s or my 1625s. I got a box so labeled, but I don't know where I put it, and I'm still digging. The one area I thought I was in, it wasn't, so that kind of said, uh-oh. It's one of those deals where you move something so you can find it easier the next time, and of course it's been in position A for 10 years, and now that you need it and you moved it, you can't remember where you moved it to. So I'm still looking. And a buddy of mine gave me one of those propane heaters that looks like a jet engine. Now that one there, I hook it up to a barbecue bottle, and I've actually used it in my garage and in my shop because they're leaky, meaning there's no real way to seal the rafters or anything to the outside. But when it's in single digits or in low in the teens, I will drag that thing out, and it'll take a shop that's like 28 degrees inside, it'll raise it to 80 in about 3 minutes. So it almost becomes uncomfortable. You don't want to use it, but I think those things are meant to heat up entire homes under construction that didn't have any walls in them or something, but it will flat warm up a room in a heartbeat, and then turn it off and then fire it back up when it's ready to go again. But you got to have a pretty much vented room to do that in. So, okay, so much for that. N4WD in the group, W4MEC.
N4WD. All right. Larry. And Don's down there, wherever he's at in Georgia. He said 73. Sorry, nobody can hear him. But, Dave, the AR-13 is doing good. You need a VC348 to go with that on my shelf. And then grab you one of the CU-20-something antenna tuners. That for a long wire, that'll be good. This sounding good, real good. Lee, I can get your ride there, so I hope everything goes good in the prayers. Everybody's sounding good, boom. The modulation turned down was good. Hearing everybody, I got a little ocean waves in there every once in a while on the few, but everything else is good. We're going to have to say 73s this go around, Steve, so we're going to say 73s here. Everybody going to have a good one. Hopefully we can catch you Thursday morning or on 160 at nighttime. So Stefan, here she comes to you, NC4ON, N4WB.
Yeah, Roger, Bruce. Let me see here. Yeah. What is it? N4WB, NC4ON. All right, excellent. I got just a phone call here. I'm going to need to keep it short, but I have no problem copying. Everybody is coming in good, and indeed, Dave, your ART sounds beautiful there. I just want to make sure you knew that. It sounds beautiful through the speaker here of the Kenwood. Yeah, otherwise, not much else to report here. Everybody is coming in good. We're going to probably leave next week for the trip on vacation, so I will be back sometime the last week of the month here, and then I can join again. So I will make this my last one, Steve. Thank you for doing the net, and I would say we'll talk to you when I'm back. So back to, who is it now? I'm not sure, N4UB or Steve, who was it?
It goes to me.
Okay, 73s everybody, NC4ON. Take care.
Okay, let me try Brian one more time. KN4R, are you back? Well, can't say we didn't try. NC4ON, N4LQ, you have a good trip. wherever you might be going there, Stefan. And let's see, as far as comments go, John, KZ4B, your signal was averaging 15 dB stronger on the what you're calling the 160 meter G5 RV, but I think what that is a 200-foot center fed ZEP. I don't know how G5 RV's got anything to do with that, but I think what they did is take the original design and doubled it and called it a 2 times G5 RV. But that length, 200 feet, is still good for 80 meters. It doesn't have that null overhead, and it does have a sharper or more narrow beam width broadside. Got a little bit of gain, and if it's aimed this way, it shows because it's a much stronger. And probably the center of it is probably much higher than your end-fed half wave. I would think. I'm just guessing, but I seem to remember you saying that it's kind of sloping or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, you might comment on that. And let's see. Just about everybody's gone. I'm sitting here looking at a 6146 ad from RCA from way back in the past, the 6146B, advertising 33 1/3% higher power input. Isn't that interesting? 33 1/3%. That percentage sounds familiar, like the speed of a record. And they're saying 120 watts plate input on CW Class C. That's amazing. And it says, what must you do? You simply pull out the old tube, plug in a 6146B, and increase your screen voltage slightly, then load up. All you need then is extra reserve in your power supply. Yep, so anyway, this Valiant, it's got 2 6146s and 1 6146B in parallel. So I'm not sure what's going on in that final, but I like to have them all the same at least. And if I put B's in there, I can increase the screen voltage a little bit and probably take care of it. So I'm looking for a deal on them, and I'm not sure if there's any bonus to them being matched or not. It seems like a good idea, but it's hard to find 3 of them that are matched. Anyhow, 73s to those that have left us, and we'll go one more round. We've got plenty of time here, and I have the following that are left. John, KZ4B, Buddy, I think, is still here, and Boone, and Charlie, and I think that's about it. So go ahead, John, KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ in the group. This is KZ4B, Fine Business, Steve. To answer your question, it is an inverted B. The apex is up about, that's the G5 RV. The apex is up about 75 feet. And by the way, I'm on a still different antenna now. I'm on the 3rd antenna. This is a resonant 80-meter antenna. It's not a G5 RV. And the thing is, it's fed with about 150 feet of 213 coax. So the loss in the coax ought to be much higher. And if I sound any stronger, I'm running probably a little bit less power. I couldn't load it as high, but then it could just be a difference in impedance based on the output meter of the Titan 1 amp. So is this strong lossy? And the two, and the only difference is the end points are a slightly different orientation. So we would appreciate a signal report. Theoretically, I would think this is less powerful, but you know, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And so that's that. Let's see, I was going to comment. Charlie, thanks for the rundown on all your methods for heating garages. And I have a similar collection of methods. In the natural gas propane heater, the little jet engine type is definitely the best. I usually use a ventless propane heater, and anything's better than electric, although I've got 10 kW worth of electric heat, so I can throw some heat at it electrically, but it's like I can see the dollar bills going over the stern, so to speak. It's definitely an expensive way to heat anything. Highly convenient, but insanely expensive. But anyway, I do not like wintertime. It's not my favorite time of the year. I'd make an excellent snowbird, but traveling is an aggravation. So thanks for calling the net, Steve. As usual, you've got a great signal, great audio, etc. And I hope everybody has a super week. I'm going to sign out on this one, but I'm going to listen for signal report information to the very end. So, and Brian, I don't know what's going on over there. I hear you when you're here, and then no Brian. So, if you're still there, please elaborate. So, let's see, Cliff's gone. Buddy, I think you're still in there, and you always come in good. And by the way, buddy, I used to live in the Steel Creek area in South Charlotte, in the county, and I was about 3 miles from Withers Bridge. And so that's where I would put my boat in. When I was a teenager, I had a little 14-foot outboard and with a 25 horsepower Johnson, and I would actually ski behind that thing. It would get you up. So that's where I spent my time. So, and I guess it goes to you, buddy. WB4ARK in the group, KZ4B, clear but listening.
Hang on just a second here. I got a question.
4ARK.
Oh, well.
That transmission, you were between 60 and 70 dB, up almost at 70, and dropping back to 40 on a fade, but then right back immediately up to 60 to 70. So I would say this antenna is comparable to the inverted V, and it sounds about the same. So you've got two good antennas right there. Yeah, I know where Withers Bridge is, and yeah, that's one of the places you can go through to get out of the Lake Wylie area. But Steel Creek, but there's not too many other ways to get out of here. Up 49 into Charlotte, and then 274 up that way, which takes you over to Gastonia and Dallas. Let's see here. The ART-13 is my main transmitter, I guess you might say. I'm going to the 4400 and 310B exciter on Thursday, and we'll run that one for a while. And that's got a lot of power, which really don't need, but we'll fire it up. I haven't had it on in a while. Single 4400 modulated by a pair of 4125s. Thanks very much, Steve, for doing the net. Thanks for doing the net the time before, which I didn't tell you. So I guess I'll say 73 at this point. Turn it over to Boone. And we miss you, Brian. I don't know what happened, but you totally dropped out and you haven't been heard since. So over to WA4EVK. This is WB4ARK.
WB4ARK in the group, WA4EVK. Likewise, Steve, I really appreciate you holding the net this morning. Starting to have a little fade on everybody, but Buddy had his usual beautiful signal in here. And not much else except I'm hoping 10 meters opens up today. You never know lately. You can take all the propagation forecasts and read them and nod your head, and sometimes it goes exactly the opposite or quite a bit. It seems like it doesn't. Propagation doesn't go like they expect. But with that, I'm going to turn it on up to Charlie. W4MEC to take it, WA4EVK.
Hey, Boone, WA4EVK, Group W4MEC. Real good. And John, I did look at my S-meter, and you were 15 over. But you did take a dip there, and Buddy mentioned that dip, but your signal was a good 15 over. Amazing. Boone, if I can say anything about your audio, if you're running a D104 with an amplifier, I think you need to roll a D104 amp back and turn up the rig gain. I can hear your fan, I guess, in the Swan really loudly. It's not louder than your audio, but it sounds like you're right there with it. So might want to play around with the background noise settings there or something. But anyway, the audio sounds great. But so does the fan. I think I detect a little bit of bearing issues in the fan. That's how well I can hear it. It sounds like you might getting ready to need a new one. So anyway, I'm not sure I know Bruce left. Stefan said he was getting a phone call. So I don't know who to turn it to next, but I'll send it to Stefan, and I didn't scratch through his name, but pick it up, Steve, if I got it all messed up. NC4ON in the group, W4MEC.
I think he's gone. What about Brian, N4R? Oh, well. KZ4B, you still here?
Roger.
All right, I got to get a clarification on this because you keep talking about a G5 RV. Is that the 200-foot long G5 RV you're talking about, or is it the one that he invented, the 104 feet or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's the 200-foot long one, which is of course a bastardized G5 RV.
All right, yeah, that was strongest. That one, to me, it seemed like it was at least 6 dB stronger than the dipole that you're using now. For whatever reason, I just thought I'd let you know that. And I wouldn't even use the name G5 RV. 2 reasons. It really isn't. And the other reason is it has a bad connotation. So, center fed ZEP, man, 200 foot, that's the longest, that's the shortest you can make it for 160 that doesn't have a lot of loss, and the longest you can make it for 80 that doesn't have an overhead null. So it's a great length to make an antenna. Anyhow, just thought you'd like to know that. Go ahead. Is KZ4B N4LQ.
Meters.
What's that?
I thought the original G5RV from G5RV was a 20-meter broadband antenna, and it's kind of morphed into everything else now.
Yeah, and I think it was 102 feet. I said 104, but yeah. Anyway, well, later on in his articles, he talked about using it for multiband use, but he originally intended it to have a cloverleaf pattern on 20 meters. I think he was more interested in pattern than he was impedance initially, and then later on he did mention using it on other bands, but it's I've got a 1937 or no 1932 or something, one of the first ARRL antenna manuals, and it shows 100-foot center fed. They call it a multiband antenna, which is basically the same thing, and it explains how to feed it with ladder line, whether or not to use it with series or parallel tuning and all that stuff, and how long to make the feeders and so forth. So the only thing different about his antenna was how he intended to use it. John, are you there yet? KZ4B, go ahead. Well, okay. Must have said something to 73, and I think everybody else is gone, so we'll go ahead and close the net. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. Have a great day, and this is Tuesday, so we'll see you all Thursday at 9 a.m. here on 3715 for the Thursday edition of the Old Friends Net. This is N4LQ, closing the net.
Steve, I appreciate the feedback. You may not be able to hear me too well. I swapped the antennas and things got kind of screwed up. But have a good one, and thanks for the feedback. KZ4B clear.
Heard you fine. Okay, 73.
Very weak over here, W4MEC.
Yeah, it's about S9, so whatever, he probably went back to the end fed half wave or something.